Hey guys, it's Glenn from Glenn'sCarCollection.com, and today we're reviewing one of my favorite cars, a Porsche 991.1. This is the last of the naturally aspirated Porsche Carreras. Everything went turbocharged like my 911 in 2017. So this is the last one, 991.1s, which were model years 2012 and a half. Yes, 12 and a half. To being the last model year, which is this one, 2016. It looks beautiful in Carrera white. We have, it's a base car, so we have black calipers. We see red calipers on a S or optional ceramics on any of the cars, which would be yellow. We have beautiful wheels here, which are the turbo wheels, which are 20 inches. So if you look up a 991.1 turbo, like say from 2014, 2015, it would have these wheels. It looks like we have a sunroof here. This white and black contrast looks really nice. This is a base model, so it's actually got a smaller engine. Now they're all 3-liter turbocharged flat six. Back in the 991s, they're still flat sixes, but the base model, instead of a 3.6 or 3.8 on the other Carreras, got a 3.4. So you still have the buttons and all the, this has been, my 996 had this, 997s, my 991.1 too. Even the 992 has that. So you have the frunk, which is the front trunk, right underneath the Porsche crest here. You open it up, and it is a pretty deep trunk. You can probably fit 2 carry-on bags here or 1 bigger suitcase. My hockey bag easily fits here. Battery is right here, so you can just kind of pop this out, and that's where your battery is. I always hardwire it so I can plug it in. You have your little safety thing here. You get locked down in the trunk. Some of your other things here, I think the wheel locks and other things, if you have to change the tire, I believe, or the jack is in the side compartments, which I won't take apart since this car is for sale. Special thanks to DCH Moncler Acura in Verona, New Jersey for providing the car. They have plenty of 911s on stock. You name it, 991s, 997s, 992s, they got them. All right, so now we'll look to the back, which we also pop. Now, how you tell a 991 from my 991.2 is the 991.1s, the naturally aspirated cars, the hood slats here, or the engine slats, go horizontal. My car go vertical, the 992s go vertical. Not much to see here except for some fans and some leaves, and here you have the 3.4, and of course, always use Mobile One. To see the actual engine, you would have to get up on a lift. But it is a good looking car, and this car is available, I believe, right now, and this is a base Carrera, so it's rear drive, for under 70 grand, which is amazing in this market. And these cars are super reliable cars. Then I really believe that the 991.1s are a car you should collect now. It's the last of the naturally aspirated Carreras. Of course, the GT3s are still naturally aspirated, but in 2017, like my car, which is a 17, they all went to turbos. It gives them more horsepower, more faster, but the purists will always like the naturally aspirated engine. All right, so let's take a look at the interior, and then we'll take it for a drive. We have 2 keys, and they're actually shaped like a Porsche. So you have lock, unlock, and the front trunk. What else would you need? Has a really nice gray interior. It is a cold November day today. We have a PDK transmission for this 3.4-liter car. And basically everything's easy to use. We have our sport button here. This does our sunroof, open and close. If we want to take away the stop start, a poser button, which we can make the spoiler permanent, usually come permanently up. It usually comes above 75 miles an hour. This can take our traction control, our stability control off. And the PDK, to manual mode, we can slap it into the left or override it with these nice paddle shifters. I would like them to be a little bigger, but they feel really good quality. And basically, if you know how to work an automatic transmission, just press this button. You can put it back in drive, neutral, reverse, park. We have heated and cooled seats. Everything is optional on a Porsche, so this has some good options. You definitely want heated and cooled seats like my car has. You have your memory seats here, your mirror controls. Very easy to use. Your lights, your headlights. Everything works well in these cars. They're very reliable. They work well with heat, cooling. It's not like the old 911s. Start her up. All right. I never met a 911 I didn't like. All right, so what we're gonna do here, somehow the radio keeps going on. So very easy. We can see where we are with the gear shift lever. We have park, reverse, neutral, drive, slap it over into the left, then we shift it manually. So the same thing here. So we have some redundancy. We see we're in first gear, but the car's going to shift for us. I slap it in manual mode, the red light goes over and we'll be in manual mode. We could always override it with the paddles, but then it'll go back to its automatic mode. So we'll drive it in automatic mode just to start out right now. Very easy. These cars are made to drive every day. The 991s are bigger than the 997s. The new 992s are bigger than these 991s. So this feels at home to me because it's essentially the same size as my car. The difference really is the engines, and they got rid of, you have the touchscreen here, but the 991.2s, you get a backup camera, you can have Apple CarPlay. All right, so we'll drive in first. Pulling out. So already upshifted me to second. Now I'm going to put in sport mode. As soon as I put it in sport mode, you see the car got much, much louder, and it's also holding us into gear. So about all these cars, you know, there's all kinds of chassis control and stuff, but even in base form, base Carrera, base suspension, it really keeps flat in the road. These cars actually get probably, if I had to guess, better gas mileage than the turbos. Turbos may get better fuel efficiency because they're smaller engines, as long as you stay out of the turbos, which is almost impossible on these cars. Now, it soaks up the bumps really well. We've driven these bumps on Ferraris, Lamborghinis, and they are pretty harsh riding. This car is pretty smooth. It is a stiffer ride with bigger tires. I believe standard on this car are 19s, and these are obviously 20s, so they will have a harsher ride. Now, if we stop at a light, you have all your favorite radio stations, your climate control is easy. Air conditioning works phenomenal on these cars, and so do cooled seats. I've never had cooled seats or air conditioning that works so well. And again, you're in a smaller confined area. Now, in the early, when PDK first came out, which was the 997.2s for the 2009 model year, you had the little toggle controls on the steering wheel. A lot of people would ship their steering wheel out and replace it with this, which is like about $2,000 for the Porsche dealer to swap it to give you the sports steering wheel with these paddles. So I highly recommend buying a car that already has this. And again, it's a 991.1, so I believe you could option the steering wheel, and this car does have it optioned. Now, again, I think this is one of the best bargains out there. For about 70 grand, you can get a 2016, which was the last year of the 991.1s, and the car has under 45,000 miles. Cars may depreciate a little bit now with interest rates and obviously being older cars, because soon they'll come out of warranty. But what you got to remember is I think there's a really good collectability for the 991.1s. The 997s have already shot up. The air-cooleds have shot up. Even the 996 has shot up. What has not shot up yet? The 991.1s. So I think it's a pretty safe place to put your money. Again, model year 2012 and a half. So 2012, they actually did two cars. The 997.2s and the 991s, they kind of overlap. So 2012 is the last year, not counting turbos and stuff like that for Carreras, is the last year of the 997.2s. Is that confusing you yet? And 12 and a half essentially were these larger cars, the 991.1s. So on the 997s, they had 3.6 for the base, 3.8 for the S's. And to be more fuel efficient, I think, for the 991s, because they could still make the 350 horsepower out of a smaller engine, they went to the 3.4s only for the base cars. And again, you could drive this car all day. You could put 100,000 miles on this car. I'm in New Jersey. You can go from New Jersey to Florida, Florida to California, and these cars are reliable and they'll never break down. Very comfortable. Now, you can go as crazy as options as you want, but I think the base Carreras, I always was of the adage that I want the S, and I don't care if I'd rather take a no option S than a fully loaded base. And now, after owning a 2017 base, I feel the exact opposite. Let the base get you into the car, and then you could adjust from there. We'll turn right here, go up the hill. but so comfortable, great stereo system. So most of them have the Bose. There's an optional Burmeister that's really expensive. I haven't heard the Burmeister. From what other people tell me, it's not that much better than the Bose. So I think even the bass stereo is pretty good in these cars. Now, because they're not turbo, you have less than 300 foot-pounds of torque. The turbos now have over 300 foot-pounds, but you do have 350 horsepower in a relatively light car. Remember, there's no all-wheel drive here, so you actually, it is lighter than the competition. Now, anytime we've done C8 Corvettes and C7s and everything on the channel, of course, we're stuck by, it's leaf season here. Anytime I'm thinking, and I've owned 3 Corvettes and lucky enough to own 4 Porsches, anytime I'm specking out a Corvette, I see what I can get for the equivalent Porsche. And I would honestly probably take one of these over a C8 Corvette, just because I think the build quality is there. You could run these cars all day at the track and drive them home. And I don't think there's too many cars that can do that. All right, so let's drive in manual mode, because I think we're going to have to downshift here. This car looks beautiful in its Carrera white exterior. I love the big center tachometer. You're revving to about 7,500 RPM. Can you believe it's only 3 o'clock and see how dark it's getting now? We'll go on some S roads in a second, I promise. All right, so we're ready in second gear. We don't need to downshift because we were going slow enough. All right, so we're gonna go down the hill here. Effortless acceleration. We went from second, accelerated upshift to third, down to second. This is the best PDK, not the best PDK, but the first PDK I would consider buying. So the PDK that came out to the 997.2, though it felt decent when it came out, it's slow and laggy if you drive one now. So this is the first PDK, basically 2012 and a half and up, that I would be happy to own. All right, so what we're gonna do, yep, everybody's coming. But it's so responsive. In automatic mode, it'll hold the gears. You can really go through the gears as much as you want. It's that good. Now, you don't have the shove of the turbo cars, and not that these are slow cars. 0 to 60 in about 4.6 seconds, about 4.8 if you went with the manual transmission. And those are conservative figures, so let's be honest, it is quicker than 4.6. It feels probably closer to 4.3 to me, 4.4. All right, so let's take those twisty roads one more time. All right, now that we're back on main roads, we're gonna put it in auto mode, let it shift for itself. It's gonna be very efficient, so we're already in the 38 miles an hour, and it shifted us up to 4th gear. Can easily be a daily driver. It's that comfortable, that reliable, and it gets good gas mileage if you stay out of those high RPMs, which is probably the hardest thing to do. Wouldn't it be great to drive a 911 every day? Absolutely. All right, guys, so we're getting to the end of our video here. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. YouTube bumps everybody up every January 1st based on the subscribers they got before. So I'm going to give you extra videos. I'm going to give you 3 videos a week instead of 2 just for the month of December. So hit the notification bell after you subscribe so you don't miss that 3rd video. So I'm giving you videos. That's my holiday present to you. Your holiday present to me is get one of your friends to subscribe. The more subscribers I can get in November, December, the higher I'll rank in the YouTube algorithm starting in 2023. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.